I'm the average weight for like women in America.
Like,
So if we're talking about an
average.
average, like I'm gonna be the closest.
How much do you weigh? What is the average weight for women in America? That girl is not 170 pounds. That lady is not 170. You're lying. I'm 170. Alright, so look, it's your boy, Boss Enosch, back again with another video. You feel me? And today we're watching a Jubilee video. Another one, another middle ground. Is being fat a choice? So, you know, I wonder if this is going to be some type of like body positivity propaganda piece, or are they going to keep it real? Are they going to keep it real? Because we all know America has and has been having an obesity problems. A lot of people are living sedentary lifestyles. They're sitting around, not moving around. In the era of work from home, remote jobs, DoorDash, Uber Eats, in the era of comfort and leisure, a lot of people are getting bigger, bro. You know what I'm saying? People aren't being as active, bro. In this era of technology, a lot of kids are staying inside, playing video games, or playing on their phones, playing on their tablets, and they're not going outside, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, a lot of parents are having kids and pushing their unhealthy lifestyles on their kids, and that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, I try to stay fit. I try to be active. I try to go to the gym regularly. Sometimes I slack, of course, like everybody, but I try to stay on it. You feel what I'm saying? Because, you know, if there's one thing that's for certain, being weak, being unfit doesn't do you any favors, okay? It doesn't do you any favors. It really doesn't. Mentally, physically, emotionally, exercise helps to maintain our essence, all right? But whatever, enough of that. Let's see what they talk about in this video, man. Oh yeah, shout out Gymshark, right? It's funny that I'm wearing this and this is the video I'm reacting to. No, I'm not sponsored by Gymshark. Okay, as you can see here, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 big people and 3 skinny, smaller people.
There's a difference between the people who are telling people go out and...
See, I was gonna see if they're gonna push certain like... Because there's certain stereotypes when it comes to big people, bro. You think of like big, sweaty, fat white dudes, but a lot of times you think of like big, fat black women. So I was like, are they gonna put black women on here, bro? Because especially if you're on the internet, social media like Twitter and stuff, there's certain caricatures that immediately come to mind, and those two are like the top 2 when it comes to big people. But no, they got 2 maybe Hispanic or racially ambiguous people on here, so they didn't feed into that.
Get fat versus a Lizzo who's saying accept me the way I am.
She's not just saying accept me the way I am. She's dressing extremely scantily clad and then saying if you don't think that it's normal for a morbidly obese person to be wearing a G-string in the middle of public, then you're the problem.
Hey, no cat though, she spit. Yo, for the past 2 days my laptop acting weird, bruh. But hey, she's spitting though, cause y'all remember when Lizzo went to that basketball game in like a G-string or some shit or a thong and was like twerking at the basketball game. Like, bro, what are you doing here? Why are you dressed like that? There's kids here. Don't nobody want to see that, bro. Don't nobody want to see that. If you want to go do that, go to the strip club. Go to the areas where that is normal. Okay? Why are you doing that basketball game? Family event. No one want to see that shit. Is that being body positive? And that's the thing too with a lot of these social movements, bro. You know, it's like a Trojan horse. The Trojan horse is, oh, you know, we're trying to push acceptance and representation and diversity, and we want people to feel okay in their bodies. But really, people want to use an excuse to get attention, okay? That's what it is. People want to use that as an excuse to get attention or to be degenerate. It is what it is, bruh. Now, I'm not saying every person who ascribes to some of these ideas that's their intent, but for a lot of these people, it is. We see it all the time. Bro. Let's go on. It's a 36-minute video, so let's see if I could refrain from making this video an hour. Okay, being fat or skinny is a choice. So 5 people disagree. retarded. Okay, I'm just gonna say to you, generally speaking, your size is up to you. You control it. You control what you eat. You control if you exercise. Okay.
Of course, not every factor is purely choice. I don't think that every factor is, but I do think a majority of it is. And in most cases, for most people, being skinny or being fat is about willpower. It's about the environment you grow up in, sure, but who you choose to associate with, what sort of things you choose to listen to, who you choose to kind of have as your friends around you and support you. All of those things are choices that you can make that will lead you closer towards being one or the other.
I know what I do with my body. I know what I put into it, day in and day out. I choose not to eat some days. I choose.
Whoa. Damn, nigga. Now he look real skinny. I don't know about all that.
Choose, how I want to look. And I don't fault anyone for how they want to look or how they want to be, but I think it's a choice at the end of the day. I'm very, always wish-washy on how I want to be presented and if I want to gain weight or not. But the only person that's going to gain the weight at the end of the day is me and me myself.
For me, it's calories in, calories out. Go to the gym, you'll get buff. Don't go to the gym, you won't get buff. I understand that there's genetics that could cause you to want to eat more, but even with the genetics that cause you to want to eat more, the same solution is calories in, calories out.
I think the whole choice.
How much you consume versus how much you burn. Very simple, very simple, very simple.
Is, always determined.
There's a calorie surplus and a calorie deficit. Very simple.
Who they are. And it's not going to just be a thing done overnight.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of, I think it's like breaking the barrier and breaking a lot of things, not only your body, but also breaking your mental state.
Sure.
And again, that depends on who you are.
I ain't gonna lie though, I'm not surprised. The ones that didn't come sit down, I'm not surprised they didn't come sit down. That's exactly what I expected. You didn't say that's exactly what I thought.
Disagreeers?
Yes, let's see what they got to say. I can't wait to laugh. And of course, it's all the girls too.
I felt like as
Except
a
for one.
toddler, I always viewed myself as big. I grew up in a very poor home, so where my mom couldn't provide the meals that she could healthily. So when we would get free meals, even then it would be canned food, and it would be very much food that's not as edible. It was food for us, yes, but then I felt like once it reached a point where I was old enough to try to make my own choices, I made all of the wrong choices. I wasn't eating, and I was only eating grapes and lettuce, and that was mainly because I was in a sport, and that sport just worked me out so hard. And it was to the point where I just was scared to eat. I didn't like it. I would only drink water.
When you were eating,
What? What the fuck is she talking about? Whoa! Hold on. What? So she was in a sport, and so for some reason she thought that she should only eat grapes and lettuce. What? And again, she said choices, things she was choosing to do. So, okay, I'm sorry to the church. Let's keep going.
grapes
And
and
listen to her
lettuce,
testimony.
were you thin?
I was the thinnest I could be.
Were you still big though?
I was still big, but that was the skinniest I've ever been. And that's coming from somebody who was only eating somewhat salads that are just fruit and lettuce and water and maybe ice right before a practice.
Do you think that right now,
No, I don't give a fuck about nothing she's saying, bro. If you are an athlete and you're only eating salad, you're not gonna be sustained. Okay? So she wasn't even eating correctly. Okay? Just because someone eats a bunch of salads don't mean they're healthy. If you only, just like same shit with a lot of these vegans, bro. Some people that are vegan, they're not getting the proper nutrients supposed to get. Everywhere you go, even in school, they tell you this. A balanced diet is key. Balance. All about balance. Too much of anything is bad for you. Too much greens, bad for you. Too much processed junk food, bad for you. Come on, bro. Come on. This is elementary. What are you talking about?
you would not be capable of becoming a thin woman if you wanted
I
to?
possibly would be capable of becoming a thin woman, but since I was young, I was supposed to get blood tested probably when I was very, very young, and I never did. And they had mentioned that it could have been because of my weight and how that connects with my thyroid. I never made the connection, and I never had like that, like lenient.
Yeah, I think from my little experience with people with thyroid issues, it seems to be a correlation between your weight and your thyroid.
Parent to be like, go and get checked out, go and do this, like your weight is probably not your fault. It was always like, your weight is your fault, so that's your issue.
I mean, I also struggle with you know, thyroid and my own blood issues. I'm not quite sure, but I do see an endocrinologist and I go see a doctor. It's a choice to do the requisite steps. It's a choice to go grocery.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say all the way when it comes to like getting yourself checked by a doctor and stuff. Ideally, your parents will be able to take care of that for you when you're young. But you know, healthcare ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people can't really afford too much to go to the doctor and have a lot of those tests done. No cap, where you can be paying a lot of bills. But you know, again, I understand that there's barriers for some people, but still, you can make the choice to have good health, dude.
Grocery shopping instead of going to fast food when it's easy. It's a choice when you're grocery shopping to go to the outer aisles and like not go into the bread section and not go into the junk food section. These are all choices.
As a disabled woman, I can't do a lot of the things that people say, calories in, calories out, oh, you gotta go work out and exert it. A lot of the things that are typical, oh, this is how you lose weight, put me in the hospital. I have to navigate weight differently. I have to look at it differently. My weight is the way it is because of medication, because doctors put me in this position. And I had to learn, okay, am I going to be so hateful of my own body that I am going to backlash and put myself through extreme gym nights, through keeping myself.
30 minutes is extreme. Again. Understandable. There are medications that can affect your weight and fluctuate it. That's understandable if you're already disabled, you have issues already that you were born with, or you developed as you were growing, right? It happens. So it's not a choice for you, but it's still a choice in general, because most people are not you. Most people are not going through what you're going through. So in general, it's still a choice. Still a choice.
Myself from eating things that I should be able to eat. You should be able to have a balance. You should be able to go into the junk food aisle like other skinny people do and still not have to worry about gaining 20 pounds.
But I don't think skinny people go into this junk food aisle.
They
I think
certainly do.
Yes, they do.
eat a lot of
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about now. She's saying bullshit, bro. There's definitely plenty of people that are not big, that are not obese, that are not fat, that be eating junk food. Shut up. What she talking about?
Junk food.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot.
Disconnect from reality. Don't let her talk no more.
Yeah.
I mean, my DoorDash would tell you otherwise. Like,
There's a thing called set points. There's a ton of research on it that your body likes to be at specific weights. It likes to be in a specific way. So if you are fighting yourself to lose weight by not eating, over exercising, and you are damn near killing yourself to be at a specific weight, your body's unhappy.
It's important to note that a choice can be harder for people to make due to conditions in their life.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's still a choice. I could say that I had food addiction. I looked to food when I was stressed and this and that and this. And so it's harder for
Excuse.
me to choose it than for someone who has like the perfect lifestyle, someone who has parents who are giving them this and that and this. But I definitely still acknowledge that it was my choice. At the end of the day, when I go there and I look and I see, should I order a second hamburger? I'm the one choosing whether or not I order that second hamburger. I'm the one making that choice.
Y'all remember that there was a video that had went viral, I think maybe last year, of like these Californian I think professors or whatever. And it went viral because they're like, oh, all food is equal. All food is equal. See this all food is equal. This plate of donuts is the same as this plate of broccoli. There's no such thing as bad food. I'm like, yo, these people are crazy. You're crazy. You all these science
And the
deniers.
agreeers.
Yeah. There you go. Be realistic, dude. Be realistic. Yo, ass be breathing hard, going up the steps. Be realistic. When you go to pee, you can't see your dick. Be realistic. You know you want to be skinnier rather than fat. Don't lie. You're putting too much weight on your joints. Don't lie.
I think
See, and them girls back there lying.
there's a lot of different struggles when it comes to being a bit bigger. And I have a
See, okay, I like Jada. Jada didn't sit down for the first one, but she sat down for this one. She couldn't lie. She thought about herself because she looked good. She thought about herself like, you know what? No. Would I be getting the same probably attention I get in my regular life if I was big? No. Okay? No. Would I be able to feel comfortable the way I feel comfortable now if I was bigger? No.
a sister that is very, like, she's 400 pounds and
Wait.
she struggles a lot. She has lymphedema, and the to shower is really, really hard.
Wait.
So I do think for like an overall happy life and like zero struggle, I think I'd rather be skinny.
I think that it is common in society to want to be skinny. I think the average person typically wants to be skinny. I'm actually surprised that I didn't see more people come forward on that question. People treat you better. It is what is considered the standard of beauty. Your life expectancy is longer. You tend to be healthier.
I'm also really tall. I'm 6'6", so I kind of wish I could just pick a single struggle, because finding the clothes and things like that when you're bigger both ways can make it really hard. So if I was skinnier, at least that's one less thing I have to worry about. But also, I've got 2 kids and a wife, and I'm taking care of them. And as you pointed out, I definitely think that I'm at less health risks if I'm a skinnier person, if I'm a healthier person in that capacity. And I would much rather be
That's
that
facts.
so that I could be around for my kids longer.
That's facts, bro.
disagreeers, please step
That's
forward.
facts. It's about your health. Yeah, aesthetic is one thing too, but it's definitely about your health. Let's see what they got to say.
I'm speaking as someone who actually was a former smaller person, and I had the most body insecurities when I was small. I was constantly living in fear of gaining weight and having people tell me, oh, don't gain weight, don't do this, make sure that your weight is the same. And once I finally gained weight, I realized that first off, life wasn't over. I didn't feel any need to not engage in life the previous way that I had, and the attention that I got was different. But even as a smaller person, you get negative attention. And rather than trying to control my body to avoid that negative attention, I would prefer to address the situation as a society, make it more accessible for everybody to where we aren't feeling like I have to be a certain way.
Blah, 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 blah. See, I don't like this shit, bro. First of all, you're making too much of what you feel about yourself. You're basing too much off of what other people say. You welcome to the planet Earth, in the country of America, okay? Anywhere you are, doesn't even matter if you're in America or not. People are gonna have something to say. Are you gonna be such a brittle spirit that is gonna affect you in any way at all? Let it be. Let it be. You have to look at it pragmatically, look at it logically. What is better for me in the long run? Is it what's better for my health? You know? She said she's a disabled person. I wonder if she was disabled when she was smaller. You know what I'm saying? Or did something happen? Because it's different if you were born with a disability, but, you know.
That's normal in order to be treated like a human being and respected.
If I could counter, because I was a bit bigger when I was younger, and that's when I was the most insecure. I would look in the mirror. I did have family members that were skinny, but then I had a family member that was much bigger. And just the way that I perceived myself, I hated it, and I even became anorexic to like not be big.
I don't think skinny always equates to being healthy.
Exactly.
I am fairly skinny. I'm 6'5". I'm 140 pounds last time I checked, and I'm severely underweight.
That's crazy.
And I know about this on a day-to-day basis. That being said, I don't know where I'd want to lean at an appropriate weight level, but I think it's important to understand for some skinny people, we're not living a great life by any means. And sometimes I feel like that's always kind of lost in translation when they see someone who's really skinny.
I guess it depends on what you mean.
Yeah, you just got more, see, because skinny fat, that's two, like, extreme ends of it. Most people are in here in the middle range, okay? Which is where you should want to be. Fit. That's why I talk about being fit, being strong, okay? Strong enough to fend for yourself if you have to. You know what I mean? Like, ideally, I'd want people to be able to, like, if they had imagine like you was outside and a rabid dog come out of nowhere and it's chasing your ass. Ideally, I'd want people to be able to run away from the dog without feeling like they just died. You know what I mean? I remember this video of this old lady. Well, I don't even know if she was old for real, but this lady who was big as hell, and she fell. She had a baby in a stroller, and the stroller started going towards the street, and she fell. And every time she got up to try to get the stroller, she kept falling. I'm like, bro, you can't get up, dude. What's wrong with you? Luckily, there was an able-bodied man nearby that ran and saved the baby in the stroller from becoming roadkill, street meat. But, like, imagine that, bro. Imagine that you can't even run for your life, and you're not disabled or nothing. You just can't run, or you can't jump. Like, bro, that's terrible, bro. That's terrible.
When you think of the term skinny, are you thinking of just like an average weight person, or are you thinking of how you are now?
I'm the average weight for like women in America.
I like
so
that's
if we're talking about an average, like I'm gonna be the closest.
If your
How much you
biggest
weigh?
priority is to be at a smaller,
Let's see. What is the average weight for women in America? That girl is not 170 pounds. Oh my gosh. Women aged 20 years and above weigh an average of 170. That lady is not 170. You're lying. I'm 170 on certain days. You're not 170, dude. Don't lie. You're look at her. She's like definitely two something, dude. Definitely two something.
body, you need to reassess your priorities.
Yeah.
not focus on health.
Yeah.
And the immediate tie between skinniness and health, like you emphasized, there is such a gap between.
Why they let and see look and Jubilee is so like particular when they want to fact check. Why didn't they fact check that? She's not the average weight.
One, the research, because the research has a huge fat phobic bias in it, and there has been research that shows that they aren't, even especially during, let's say, COVID and the correlation between obesity. They rushed through those studies so fast because in society's mind, oh, of course a fat person is going to equal someone who's going to get sick faster, is going to get sick easier. It was an easy jump. So they didn't do all of the testing that they were supposed to do. They didn't check their bias.
So
They
if
didn't
by
check.
saying the
Fact check
study
it.
is
Why aren't you fact checker, Jubilee? Listen, I don't like stuff like this where they try to rewrite reality, dude. If you are bigger, you have more at risk for certain things, okay? Especially when it comes to cardiovascular issues, blood issues. If you are bigger, you're just more at risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, bros, don't act like you're fucking Polynesian where them people just be big as hell anyway. You know what I'm saying? They be real active. Not saying you can't be healthy and big, but don't act like that's what you are when you know you're not. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you look in the black community, bro, like some of the food that like black Americans be eating, and even Caribbeans too. You know, there's definitely a lot of unhealthy foods, but well, let's focus on black America, right? If you look at a lot of soul food, for example, like it's a lot of greasy food, bro. It's a lot of greasy food. Yeah, there's greens, collard greens, but guess what? That collard greens is smoked in meat and like neck bones, and you know what I'm saying? There's so much sugar in the baked beans. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of stuff that's not exactly healthy. And unfortunately, a lot of poor areas where there's a lot of black people, the food that's closest to them is not healthy food. They'll be in food deserts? Food deserts or food swamps. It's one of them. Where it's just a lot of fast food from corner to corner. There's a Popeyes right here, a Checkers right there, a KFC right here, a McDonald's right there. That's the closest thing. And niggas be po. Yeah, so it is what it is. So we have to be realistic when it comes to shit that we talking about. And it's something I've talked about before. I never made a full video talking about it, but I've mentioned it. I know I've mentioned it a couple times. Black women have some of the highest pregnancy-related deaths or issues. I think one part is due to racism. I believe that is so. But another part of it is due to diet and health. A lot of black women in every group, in every demographic of people in America, the men are actually bigger than the women, except for black people. Black women are much bigger than the men. Okay? And like I said, a lot of the issues that go on that black women have during pregnancy, or you know, are heart-related issues, blood-related issues. And guess what? A lot of those come from being bigger, being unhealthy and bigger. That's just the facts. You put yourself at risk. You put your family at risk. You're like, come on, bro. I remember there's someone that I know who is a bigger person. Just had a kid. Bro, I'm watching this girl feed her son until this nigga start throwing up. I was like, bro, what's wrong with you? Yo, you don't have to, like, why are you trying to make him keep eating, bro? Why are you trying to make him keep eating? And, you know, it's important to be healthy, too, because when you do end up having kids, your DNA is what's getting passed to the kid. Your genes is what's going to the kid. Okay? It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's keep
is
going.
biased. You're saying that the study didn't account for the variable that obesity may also take a factor into. It's just that there's so many variables in humanity that
It's Cope, pretty much. It's Cope she's saying. Because she's pretty much saying, oh, you know, they didn't know that COVID would affects bigger people. Really? They didn't do enough studies for real. Shut up. Yes, they did. Shut up. It's obvious.
these pharmaceutical companies could only account for so many during their trials. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're biased. However, you want to talk about bias in studies, actually recently we've been doing the opposite. So for instance, a lot of our studies have been based on BMI, and so we've been showing that, oh, fat people aren't necessarily extremely unhealthy if we look at people with a certain BMI. However, bodybuilders also have a really high BMI, and so they get counted into that category. And so it wasn't until very recently that they equated for that mistake, and it shows, oh my goodness, being fat is actually extremely unhealthy, like way more unhealthy than we ever realized.
You can't gauge health by looking at somebody.
Yeah.
Like none of my health issues, all of them precipitated my weight gain. But I always get assumed, oh, don't you want to be skinny so that you don't have a cane anymore and you don't feel the way you feel? And it's like, no, because I have lupus and I'm always going to feel like this. It's going to happen.
Listen, I don't care what nobody say, bro. I don't care what nobody say. Okay? If I'm looking at you, I see a lot of fat on your body. There's a lot of weight on your body. It's much better to have developed muscles on your body rather than a bunch of hanging fat. Fat that releases a lot of chemicals, a lot of estrogen, you know what I'm saying, that messes with your hormones, it messes with your mood, you know what I'm saying? Compared to having a toned, developed muscular body. Like, bro, that's just, come on, bro. You're stronger, it's easier on your joints as you age, you know what I'm saying? It's mainly, that's the main thing too, because you know, we're humans, we're finite beings. The beauty of human life is that it's short, and finite. Okay, it doesn't last forever. So when I'm talking, a lot of things when I'm talking about is like it's an investment. Your health is a long-term investment. I want to be old and be able to still run, and you know, and I don't know, do backflips or whatever. I don't want to be old and be one of the people that's, you know, hunched back, kneeled over like this. Like, come on, bro. Everybody better sit down. Everybody better sit down. Okay, yes.
Oh, absolutely. You can.
How is she not sitting down? Are you
Pretty
serious?
clear. You look at the weight of the average American, you see how obesity has affected not just children. I mean, the fact that we have more younger and younger people who are looking heavier and heavier, and you see that, like, you know, the way that weight affects us as a society, and you compare that to how we were in the past. Now, not that we should always, you know, we shouldn't compare ourselves to the era of the Great Depression when people just couldn't find food, of course, but people are heavier now in an unhealthy way, and people are eating unhealthy. They are eating it through unhealthy access to food. They're eating diets high in seed oils. They're eating high corn syrup. They're doing all this kind of stuff that's not good for them, that we didn't used to do, and it's bad. It's not a good thing.
So you can blame a lot of stuff on that. You can blame capitalism, right? for the lefties that are watching this, if they are, they definitely would not be watching my channel. Yeah, I'm sure you could blame capitalism, I guess. You can blame people using capitalism in a not good way. Okay, they're sacrificing the well-being of people for profit. That's what it comes down to. They're valuing profit over the well-being of people. I remember there's a story of like the process, and maybe I'll find a video on it and we'll like talk about it in the video, a whole video dedicated to it. But the process of how they made chicken, and I think this changed in I think the 40s or 50s. I think. Pretty much how they would make chickens. They would how do they make chickens? Pretty much when they would get a chicken and prepare it to be eaten, they would allow the chicken to grow, right? To an adult age. So to get them at their most biggest, their most full size, okay? Someone made a competition to see who can grow the fattest chicken, right? Who could grow the fattest chicken? The fastest, okay? So then people started trying to come up with ways to get these chickens big as hell while they were young. And that's where you got a lot of I don't remember all the details. I remember reading this a long time ago. But yeah, that's where it came from. So now people start trying to find cheap, quick, fast ways that weren't necessarily healthy to artificially make the chickens get bigger and breed bigger chickens. So now you get chicks that are big and puffed up and they're only like 1 year old. You know what I'm saying? They're at a size they're not supposed to be at until a little bit later. It's not necessarily a good thing for a chicken. You know, and that's why if you ever talk to people that's been alive for a couple decades, they'll tell you a lot of food tastes different nowadays than it did back then. There's so many different chemicals that be flowing through the economy, bro. The economy of food, the food market is so crazy.
It's an epidemic. It needs to be quashed in some capacity.
There's so much access to just
Junk food.
anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy these days. And, you know, I'm so surprised that we're actually supporting a lot of this, you know, and there's always people like, you know, like, it's fine that we have like 3 McDonald's like on the same street. And it's just like, we don't think that this is adding to the problem.
What I think is really sad about that is so many people in America just see the profit in it. I don't want to say I know that these people know the problem, but it's like, how can you not see the problem? They have to see it and just not care. They have to just be like, well, we're gaining profit. Do you see how much this McDonald's is making? Put another one across the street. Like, that's just like
It's not
how it
even
is.
just the corporations,
too.
it's the
Yeah.
medical industry. Having a fat country makes us money.
It doesn't help that our cities aren't walkable either.
Yeah,
America is a country of non-walkable cities.
That is why I wavered a little bit, because I think we have a problem with how to treat obesity. I think we have a problem with how to make it so that it is not an epidemic. This is a systemic thing, that we are in a society and in an environment that breeds this, and we are doing it to ourselves, we are doing it to our children, and our corporations and our industries are doing it to
So she agrees that being big as hell is not a good thing?
us, and they aren't having to take responsibility for
And
it.
they're encouraging it with media. So
And the
Yes.
mukbangs, I was literally going to bring
See,
that up.
look, you know what I think? They agree when they have someone to blame. When they can't blame, if they don't have to blame themselves, they have a big organization, a big entity that they can blame. They agree. That's a problem. Oh, if it's me, if it's a choice that I make, oh no, it can't be me. I'm not saying that's what she's doing, but you know, it's a trend that I noticed.
Mukbangs and like all those videos that just come up
Yeah,
to
it's
trends for
insane.
people
not
to do
only
it as
the
well.
mukbangs, but also like
Mukbangs.
Lizzo
Isn't it mukbang?
and other big like media.
I don't know.
Lizzo's
I'm sorry.
very
There's a
That's
very
different.
big difference between the people who are telling people go out and get fat versus a
I love
Lizzo
myself
who's saying
fat.
accept me
Yeah.
the way I am.
She's not just saying accept me the way I am. She's dressing extremely scantily clad and then saying if you don't think that it's normal for a morbidly obese person to be wearing a G-string in the middle of public, then you're the problem. And they're trying to normalize society to this obese culture, which is extremely unhealthy. And
What is an obese culture?
a culture which like
Obese. Okay, let's start talk.
normalizes
I'm obese
obesity.
and I haven't even heard that.
Well, obesity is already normal, so
Well, I don't think it should be normalized.
So if obese is already normal, then that's an obese culture. Yes or no? What are you talking about?
And it wasn't normal.
But
just a couple
what's the
decades
difference
ago.
between a obese person, myself, walking around in a G-string or a bathing suit as I
See, so she admits that she's obese. Why did she say earlier that she's the average weight of a woman in America? You're lying.
do
The average person is not obese.
almost every day, and a skinny person? Like, is it okay that the skinny person is doing that?
I don't think so, but
I don't think
that's for other reasons. probably.
No. Like I said earlier, dress like that where you're supposed to dress like that, okay? Of course, there's an added layer where it's like, ew, like where that motherfucker don't even look attractive either, okay? But that's not the main thing. But it is part of it, you know. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. Of course, if you see somebody that's unattractive doing something, of course it would look better if the person that was doing it was attractive. That's a fact of life. Everybody knows that, okay? But still, the reason why it's not good is still the same.
I get the whole in public thing.
To say that when Lizzo does it is the same as a Victoria's Secret angel
Why
is just not
shouldn't
the
it be,
same.
though?
Yeah, what's the
'Cause
difference?
what do you mean? Are you telling me they look? You're telling me it doesn't.
I'm not saying they look the same.
Well,
but
I
I'm
mean,
saying
Lizzo
what's
goes
the
on
difference
what's
stage.
the implication? So if I walk down the street, I'm a runway model. I'm a print and runway model. I have walked down a runway in a thong. So me doing that is shameful, but a skinny model is
Like a
okay.
Victoria's Secret
I didn't.
model.
I don't know if I use the phrase shameful,
Problematic.
but I don't think that we as a
And she was talking about in public, not on a runway fashion show.
society should be modeling obesity.
But when I'm not modeling obesity, I'm modeling the lingerie that obese people need to be able to have availability to buy. Yeah.
So they've always had the ability to buy
we have not.
lingerie.
If you go to Torrid,
No.
a single
We
underwear is
have
like
not.
almost $20.
Yeah.
And you go to like any other Walmart, any Target, and like all these underwears are on special for like $5 to like $20 and stuff.
Well, it
and
does
it's
take
like,
more fabric to make it.
It does take more fabric.
Exactly. Duh.
They
make
use
it,
that
but
as
it-
Thank you. I was about to say that. I'm glad he said that. I was about to say it.
excuse, but
That
you
would-
make yards of fabric.
Yeah.
Fabric to make it.
It does take more fabric to
They
make
use
it,
that
but
as
it's-
an excuse, but
that
you
would-
make yards of fabric
Yeah.
for gowns. You like
Is a
it's-
small
it's-
a different price?
Hey, for gowns, and how much do gowns cost? What the fuck is he? See, look, this is the thing, bro. It's always the same stuff. They try to find like when you give the actual reason, the logical reason behind something. They try to say, "Oh, it's just an excuse." It's an excuse. No, but because a lot of these people that are not behind the doors of like manufacturing, for example, like okay, like you know the pink tax, right? So how a lot of feminine products, like razors, right? Women's razors are pretty much the same as men's disposable razors, except women's are pink, right? And so they cost a little bit more because the dye that they use to make it pink is a little bit more costly. So they try to complain like, oh, da 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 da. Well, okay, just buy the men's razors. It's the same shit. The reason why it costs more is because of that pink dye. That's all it is. That's the practical reason behind it. But you can say it's an excuse. No. Bigger clothes, more fabric. There's less people that are actually even fit that size to begin with. So it's not like it's going to be, it's going to make a lot of money. So yeah, it costs more.
Than an extra large or a large?
It is.
And
yeah,
we're willing-
for 3XL shirts, I got to pay more money.
I think people view models and Instagram people and all of us who are plus size and proud as we're pushing this obese lifestyle.
Yes.
No, I'm pushing the fact that this is what I live in. This is my life, and I need other people
you don't wanna
who
change it.
feel this way to say, hey, I want to be able to wear clothes that look cute too.
I do think there's a problem with obesity in America, but I think it's a first world country problem because it's spread across the globe. And also, I don't see it as a problem. I do feel like health-wise, people should try to be healthier, but there's no perfect body. There's no perfect person.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. What do you want me to say? She came and sat down for this one that she would rather be like this and be boom. So that means you see that there's a problem with it, but now you don't want to sit down. You don't want to say America has an obesity problem. Or
There's
you
no
say you don't see it as a
perfect
problem.
size.
Obviously you
and there's
do.
people who are underweight. There's a lot of them, and then there's a lot of people who are overweight. So I really don't see it as like a problem. But just to touch on what you were saying, because I am in the fashion industry, I wanted to become a fashion designer. My dad was one, and they buy 10 rolls of fabric for one price. So it really doesn't cost that much to make underwear.
Sure, but don't you also have to worry about
Yes, they do. Okay, they buy 10 rolls of fabric for one price, right? Right? But if you have to make one, if you have one pair of boxers that are a lot bigger than another pair of boxers, and it's so big that it's not going to have the same amount of people that's going to buy it in the market, it's taking money away from the amount of smaller boxers that you could have made. So therefore, yes, it's affecting the bread. It's affecting the bread. I will throw some numbers in that example, but I'm not good with numbers like quick off the top of my head. I have to write it down. But you get what I'm saying, though? So if you have this big 3XL boxer, you could have made 3 medium boxers out of this big ass one. So the price of 3 is being taken away from this one because it's not even guaranteed that they're going to even be sold as quickly, right? You ever went to, like if you ever go to like a Ross or like a TJ Maxx or something, and like if you go to where the boxers and like the tank tops are, and if you see that the shelf is like low or empty, what's usually the last stuff left there? The triple XL, the double XL. Those are the ones that are the leftovers because not as many people are gonna buy that shit. Because the majority of people are not big as hell. Okay, the majority of people are not that size. There's an increasing number of people that are becoming that size, but boom, it is what it is. So yeah, you lose money because you're gonna have product just sitting there. People's not buying for real.
Distribution. I mean, if the average person is, let's say, in between small, medium, large, and you're sending clothes out for those, you could send out 10,000 of this, 10,000 of that, 10,000 of that.
There you
can't
go.
always send out 10,000 3XLs because you're not going to have that many people fitting in the 3XL.
No, because there's
Thank you. This is a smart guy. I like this guy.
somebody who works in marketing and they research that area. There's a census, so we have a database of what type of people are there. Now we don't know who's going in there, but we know the type of people that live in that area and the type of the people that come and visit the area. So
How you know
that
their
person
size?
is
What are you
doing
talking
their
about?
job accordingly, and usually large sizes are sold out.
Okay, so somebody
No,
brought
she's lying. She's lying and just saying bullshit. Okay? Because you say you work in marketing to do a census. How do they know people's size? And again, you said in the area. So okay, let's say in that area there is a lot of people. You're only in one area. So maybe in that one area there might be a lot of. It's not just large sizes, extra large sizes. Okay. So let's say they're all in that area. Sure, whatever. That's that one area. It's still not the norm. It's still not the norm. That's the concept that they be having a hard time grasping, or they refuse to want to grasp it, because what you're talking about is not regular. It's not the norm. It is abnormal. But that's why they have this phrase, the new normal. They want to make things the new normal when they weren't normal, and it's for a reason why they're not normal.
At the food desert earlier, I can't even think of an area that would have a so-called food desert.
Sorry, can someone explain,
What?
like maybe just from my ignorance, I'm
Like
guessing a
food
food desert is just there's no food anywhere?
No, it's healthy options for food. So you can go into certain low-income areas and you.
See, okay. This is to give a side to more liberal talking points, right? So based on what she just said, she don't know what that is. Like from her research, she don't know a single place as a food desert, whatever. Well, that's because that's not your experience. You're not in those areas. I don't know if she has money or not, right? But it's likely that at least she probably comes from like maybe a middle class background. Maybe her parents are wealthy. I don't know this lady. But in a poor area, there's gonna be a lot of cheap food, a lot of cheap fast food. That's a food desert. Sometimes you're not gonna find a Whole Foods. You're gonna see maybe a Walmart, yeah, and a Target, maybe. Nah, probably not even a Target for you, because there ain't no Target on the west side. I know there is. Oh wait, no, but it depends what about the Target. It depends about Target, depending where you're at, because the Target on the west side is in a nicer area. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You don't know because that's not your experience, okay? Privileged white girl.
You'll see a Starbucks, a McDonald's, a Chick-fil-A, but there's no Trader Joe's.
A food desert, actually properly, there isn't any, like for a long period of driving, there's
Distance.
one gas station and a liquor store. Then you have to drive 2 more miles to hit the next grocery store.
But with the food desert, it's not just that there can be a grocery store there, but if I'm making minimum wage, I'm not going to spend all of my money on what is going to last me 2 meals versus what's going to last me an entire week.
Yes.
Or if I'm
If-
on EBT
Yeah.
and I have specific things that I have to choose to buy versus what I can't buy.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in Colorado. In the outskirts, there's so many small towns that you don't even know that they're there. Most of them you won't see on a map, but if you're from there, then you'll know, and they all have to drive a decent amount to be able to go to an actual grocery store.
But how often are you going grocery shopping? Maybe like once every 2 weeks would be typically
I think it
normal. So you have
depends.
to do a drive
My
once
family, I gotta go
every.
once a week.
So you're making a drive
Depends how many kids you got. It is what it is.
once a week, once every 2 weeks.
This
I
is
know.
Not a
also
lot of people
saying
have
drive.
access to the
Yeah, like what
time
if I don't have a
to-
car?
I was like, I don't
I don't even
and if
drive.
you don't have, usually these food deserts also have very poor public transportation options.
Yep,
So
like in the
you are
mountains.
left with people who are stranded.
Yeah, but then what are they eating at all?
Yeah.
Unhealthy crap.
Like,
No, but how are they
what-
surviving
what,
at
they're going through
all?
the drive-through? They don't got a car to go.
Yeah,
How are they-
exactly.
They usually.
That's funny though. Hold on. No, I get what they're saying because they're trying to make smart people don't got a car, people don't got public transportation. Listen. It's a mix of things, right? Yeah, it's not good. The environment isn't the best, but also people still make the choice because that's the choice. That's the easiest choice in front of them. So people are gonna make the easiest choice. You have to rectify both aspects of it. What is most accessible and what's the most easy? Understandably, that's what people are more likely going to do, right? If you got a bunch of kids and you work a bunch of hours, you work 1, 2, 3 jobs like some people do, you're more likely gonna go to McDonald's right there, bruh. But still, you made the choice to do that. But again, it's not the easiest choice because you gotta think about how much. It's just more convenient, bro. It's more convenient. Yeah, I don't know. Whoever set that up, they have plausible deniability because you can say, "Oh, you have a choice. You have a choice." Which, in all honesty, you do have a choice. It's just not an easy choice. It's not. But again, exercise. You can choose to exercise. You can choose to do a lot of other stuff. And you can at least go to Walmart. You know, I always say go grocery shopping over going and getting some fast food.
What I see when I go to those rural towns and those rural places is they have chickens and they have animals.
Right.
And guess what? You can get some healthy food out of that. That's like, you know,
sounds
having
healthy.
eggs and protein and things like that. I think I would be healthier if I lived rurally. In fact, my wife and I are trying to leave the state so we're not near all the Uber Eats and all the all that stuff.
I grew up in a town of 500. The obesity problem there was not as significant as, say, in LA. And we talk about like food deserts and stuff. The nearest Walmart where I grew up was 45 minutes in any direction. The nearest McDonald's was nowhere near to be seen for a long time. So when I hear these, like, and there could be some evidence there as like the obesity problem is very low lift.
Were there grocery stores in your small town?
Yes,
Exactly.
Like I'm like kind of baffled by the.
Yeah, because look, she brought up Colorado, small rural towns. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about the hood, nigga. I'm talking about the hood, okay? I'm talking about the hood. I ain't talking about no rural town. Try that in a small town. I'm talking about the hood. But they don't know about that. And, you know, I don't know if them three that's there really know about that shit either. The people of color.
Thank you.
Maybe I just need to go out there and like experience the food deserts. But like, there was grocery stores where I grew up. Just because we lived in the middle of nowhere doesn't mean we didn't have access to food. And actually, and I have to agree, we did have access to healthy food, very healthy food all the time. I don't think this is big of an issue in my personal opinion.
Fat shaming.
Yeah, because it's not that they can't go and get healthy food. It's just that there's more options and it's more accessible in a way for unhealthy, cheaper food. And I mainly say, and by by more accessible, I mainly mean due to time, convenience, and yeah, you know. But Walmart is there, you know. Walmart is there. There's definitely gonna be at least some type of Walmart nearby, maybe even Aldi's. You're not gonna find Whole Foods though. That shit's more expensive.
Is worse than skinny shaming.
I feel like fat shame worse than skinny shame. I feel like nobody should sit down. Well, what do they mean by worse? Like, worse as in, like, judgment-wise, it's morally, one is worse than the other? Or do they mean, like, statistically, one is worse? Like, one happens more than the other? Because they both happen. I feel like people get fat shamed more. People make fun of you for being fat more, for sure.
So I do agree that fat shaming is worse than skinny shaming. Just overall, entirely, the way that people like comment on people's weight compared to somebody skinny, they usually don't comment on somebody skinny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I don't, because in my experience, I can't say that because I'm Caribbean, right? I'm Haitian. Grew up in a Caribbean household. All the time, they say, "Oh, why you gaining so much weight?" Da da da. Or, "Oh, you don't eat. You don't eat. Why you not eating? You don't eat." Who's talking about much here? So, you know, I can't say that.
They don't think there's something wrong with them. They don't, like, they'll maybe say, like, "Oh, you're very thin. Do you want to eat a cheeseburger?" But that's not as bad as telling somebody, "You eat 10, stop." And you don't even know that they're eating 10.
Fat shaming is a systemic problem. You're not gonna not get a job because you're too skinny. Skinny bodies are praised in our society, whereas fat bodies, like, I don't get it as often as other people, but I get a lot of comments on my Instagram that are saying, like, "You're really beautiful, but you would look a lot better if you lost 50, 60 pounds."
Is that systemic or is that people's opinion? You know, like, that's just, people just don't find that attractive. Are you trying to say that it's systemic, that people don't find being big as hell attractive? I'm pretty sure that for a majority of human existence, people is not big as hell. Majority of people is not big as hell. You know, it's funny. I back in the day, you know, being big was seen as a sign of being rich because you could afford to eat so much.
Something that I always get a lot of comments on is my masculinity as a man because of how skinny I am. It's always something that I've always kind of dealt with. My favorite comment is always I look like a sickly, ill Victorian child. And
That's horrible.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that.
no, I don't. It doesn't bother me as much, but this idea
That's funny.
that skinny people can't also get these kind of comments are just kind of mind blowing. That doesn't mean that they're, that one side is getting it worse than the other. I think that there are both sides getting piled on, just at different varying degrees.
I think we're conflating two things as well. So there's a difference between fat shaming and fat discrimination. Fat shaming is an aspect of fat discrimination, but some of the things you were touching on are specifically societal and systemic fat discrimination that goes into our medical system, it goes into employment, it goes into all of our civil rights as fat.
I have no ideas about job discrimination when it comes to being big, because I've seen a lot of big people in plenty different fields of work. So I don't know. I can't tell you. But when it comes to movies or Hollywood, I've never seen no fat CEOs. Never seen a fat CEO. I can tell you that in probably like a higher performing field. Well, hold on. I don't know. Like I think I've heard someone say before, where it's like, if someone's big as hell, to them that shows a sign of, okay, you can't control yourself. You don't have discipline, because why you big as fuck like that? Which is not entirely wrong, unless you're someone that you have a medical issue. That's why you're that big. But why you're that big for? But is that systemic or is that just regular?
Fat people, that skinny people don't necessarily have that same issue. And I come from cultures where they straight out called out skinny people. Oh, you look like bones. Oh, flaca. All of that. So I watched my cousins go through it. I went through it when I would get too skinny. As people, we are just too scrutinized when it comes to our bodies. We don't let people live.
But I think that's a good point. You said you were called skin and bones when you got
My cousin.
But your cousin. So people using shame as a motivator to get your cousin to not be too skinny. Shame as a motivator is a powerful tool. So the reason I sit over there is fat shaming worse than skinny shaming. Well, you could argue that shaming somebody in order to motivate them towards a healthy lifestyle is actually a good thing. Now, I have a lot of empathy because hearing your story about how you've been struggling with this since you were a child.
Since I was like a newborn baby, like health, just everything's just been.
She's not wrong, bro. Shame is a part of life, bro. Shame is a part of life. If there's something you're gonna do and you probably think you shouldn't do it, some of the feelings you're gonna think is the shame that you would feel from doing something you shouldn't do. So yeah, she's not wrong. I agree with her. Bring back shame. Some people take that shit too far, though, of course.
Anything about being skinny or being fit or being athletic. I've never known anything about that.
Probably your situation, I don't think shame necessarily would motivate you, but for somebody where it is a option, so for instance, if you watch TLC, you watch My 600-Pound Life, 1,000-Pound Sisters, Family by
Damn,
the
why
Time.
you know all of them? What the
all
fuck?
of them can do it. All of them have had this systemic issue
That's
of
the thing,
weight
though. I
gain.
have watched those like as a younger person, and it would make me feel disgusted with me when I was a kid. So it would make me worse, and it made my mental health worse. Because then I'm like, is that how like everybody automatically views me as just like somebody who's oversized and could possibly never even attain it because it's so just common?
I don't think we should shame anyone to do anything.
No.
I think everyone deserves to like themselves enough to like enjoy life. And if you do that as a fat person, okay. If you do it as a skinny person, also chill. It's not my business.
Shame is a broad category. I do think shame works in some cases. I think that there has been good fat shaming towards me and bad fat shaming. Bad fat shaming is just, somebody just saying you're fat. There's like that.
It's
that
the
doesn't
intent.
really work.
The
But
intent
what
is what's important.
does work is somebody looking at me and saying, "Don't you want to be around for your kids?" And that worked.
I don't think
that
that's
worked.
shaming.
Yeah, like, do you
though.
consider that shaming?
I do. I think that's shaming. I think they were telling me like you should lose weight to be around for your children. I think that's shame. Like an attempt to like try and say something bad about me.
Like they're
like, to
personalizing
encourage me.
it towards you and towards your kids. Like,
Sure.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that worked. I think that worked. That really encouraged me to go to the gym and start trying to lose weight.
But that's you, though.
Sure.
Like,
I think you have to be specific to the person.
I think that's one thing is it depends on the person.
Sure.
And if someone wants to shame me and like, you know, it depends on the person. I've been shamed a couple times and it's kicked me into gear to try to gain weight, but it's still really hard.
Sure.
And it's, you know, it depends on who you are, I think.
When you were making a comment about people questioning your masculinity, I get the question of actually looking like a woman all the time, and it's always in play. I always get compared to like male characters, especially when I don't wear makeup, and that's because I don't have boobs, and I can't help that, but it's definitely really, really hard to like have people tell you constantly, like, here's the standard of how a woman should look, and you don't look like that, without even saying it. They don't say it, they're categorizing me, they're making fun of me, saying that I look like this one soccer player.
Oh my God,
and, I
the
think
one
it's
with pink
funny,
hair
but also
that nobody likes?
shame can also be hard, because I can see what you mean. Sometimes it can really motivate you when it's out of love,
Yes,
but when it's out
that's
of
the
pain,
difference.
and when it's out of like not knowing someone
Yeah.
and just saying it, then
Yeah, the people who said that to me about my kids were not just some random guy online. It was
Right.
people who were close to me and I knew cared about me, who I had a conversation with. So I do think it matters who says it, but I still would consider it to an extent shaming. And I'm okay with that. I think there is good shame. I think sometimes it
Them
helps
boys need the
motivate
shame
people in the
wizard,
right way.
boy.
The body positivity movement promotes childhood obesity.
Why are they doing Patreon exclusive stuff now? That's lame, bro. Oh, she sat down. Okay. So, bro, that
Diet
black girl is like I don't want to say flip flopping, but I don't know. She's standing up and sitting down a lot in between each one. It's interesting. Interesting. Diet culture has positive effects. Diet culture. Well, what is diet culture? Are they talking about like those teas that a lot of people promote sometimes? Tummy tea, flat tummy tea? No. Hell no. If that's what we're talking about, then I ain't going for it. Oh, he's on set now.
I guess for me, diet culture is an important thing to have for people in the world. What I've realized after we're about to finish this up is there wasn't a lot of talk.
And I think diet. Okay, so
culture.
never mind. I've seen diet challenges like there was like a egg diet challenge. There's like a fruit diet challenge. Like I think those are pretty good. You know, so you could actually experiment too. You could see how certain things affect your body and how being without certain things affects your body. I think that's a good thing to see and figure out. I never really committed to one. I haven't really tried. I have a friend that does it sometimes, and it's someone at work at my job had done it before. They were on like a cabbage soup diet or something like that. So it's interesting to me. But yeah, I think overall that's not really a bad thing. I think the bad stuff is like drink this tea, buy my tea, and you're gonna lose 10 pounds. Like, bro.
with us and for challenging us, and I really want to thank you. I thank you for the back and forth. It's something that I came here for, and I wanted to talk to somebody who thinks differently, and I've learned some things, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. This was great.
Okay, look at that. That was very wholesome. Very wholesome. They were saying some dumbass shit a little bit, but hey, I like that what they said at the end. They wanted to get challenged. They wanted to have the tough conversations, because that's what shit is about, bro. You gotta have a conversation. If you think something, if you believe something, and you never have what you believe challenged, then do you really believe it? You know what I mean? Do you really believe it if you can't defend it? If you can't sit and question it to yourself? But yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It didn't turn into something. It didn't turn into no like toxic debate or toxic, bullshit. People saying, because sometimes these things can turn into that. Okay, damn, hour long. I'm gonna cut some of this because it did not need to be that long, bro. Okay, well, hey man, that was the video. Shout out Jubilee again. This is pretty interesting. I support everybody making healthy choices in their lifestyle, for their own benefit. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and join the Discord. Links in the description box. Peace out.